Hello, people! Welcome to another edition of Friday Night Knives here on A Dose of Drew, and we have tonight the Tactile Turn Maverick in Magna Cut, and this is a special butterscotch micarta edition. What? Yes, it is indeed, and that is it is an Urban EDC supply special edition. There is a code I will be giving out later on, and also down in the link. It is not an affiliate code. It is just a discount code. They're having a sale, and I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to try and utilize it. All right. So first things first, what do we have here? This is actually a pretty good size knife, even though it is slim and light. So we go tip to scale and tip to scale and tip to tail. So right here, about 3.5, maybe about 3.5 right on the money on the tip to scale, and tip to tail is just a tiny bit over 8 inches, maybe 8.25 at the most. So pretty good size, yeah, not bad, right? A couple of other things here. Let's get into the other bits of the things. 2.66. Under 3 ounces, barely over 2.5 ounces. For those of you who are wondering, 75.5. If I blow on it, I can get a few more grams. That's the difference. You guys heard me just blow on it. Look. Yeah, that's a ish. Right? So 75.5. The air currents change it sometimes. Okay, I'm not joking. It is that sensitive, and that's just how much a little bit makes a difference. Extremely lightweight is the point behind that. All sorts of other fantastic bits here. Let's get on into it. Here we get reset and re-zero. 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 Okay, there we go. Wow, that was a weird zeroing process. 2.3 millimeters. Let's go back to our inches. Very thin blade stock. Anyway, 0.0945 on the blade stock. Thin blade stock and decently high flat grind, saber style. Make for, see if I can even get this. This is quite the tiny little secondary bevel. That's way down. Okay, there. No, that's still, there we go. Reasonable 17.5 thousandths behind the edge. I might be off a little bit. It might be within 1 or 2 thousandths of that, but it's pretty close. So reasonably thin, while also not being too thin behind the edge for such a thin blade stock, giving it plenty of robustness for long life. Really cool. All right, on to the referential stuff. We'll do a quick Spyderco sandwich here. All right, Spyderco Paramilitary 2. As you can see, overall length much more similar to a Paramilitary 2, which is not a bad thing. The Paramilitary 2 is one of the best knives out there today. And the Para 3 lightweight in this case, as you can see, significantly larger. It is a fairly good sized knife, despite not necessarily looking like it, carrying like it, or feeling like it, except for in things like hand space. Speaking of which, it is just a blur, and if you take a look, hand space is actually very similar to the blurs. And a similar bit. It's just a slightly elongated and slimmer and contoured, and we'll get to the rest of that. A lot of similar hand space, so still a full-size knife. And of course, not just any leak, but random leak. Lots of hand space. Lots and lots and lots. Fairly good size for lots of different size hands, which is fantastic. Large and small. Might be a little big for small hands, but it's never going to hurt. And for big hands, you'll have enough room. And of course, the Benchmade bug out. Once again, take a look at the hand space. more hand space than the bug out, and even slightly more real estate on the little flat spot for like a finger rest, which is pretty cool. Another drop point blade, sort of elongated. You can see sort of some drop point, swedge, elongation things. There's a lot of wonderful things about the bug out that you can see some echoes in the Maverick, and I mean that in a good way. And of course the Civivi Elementum, a couple of EDC grates here, lots of hand space. Elementum out to the choil, same hand space as the Elementum out to the choil. Pretty good size for a knife, under 3 ounces and really close to 2.5 ounces. It is ridiculously close. And of course, this is it compared to my Wiener. As you can see, it might be a bit longer, but length isn't where it is. It's about girth, it's about thickness, it's about how it goes in, and that curve helps. And so therefore, my Wiener wins. And that's all that's important. All right. Let's get to the damn nice categories: design, aesthetics, mechanics, noteworthy points, intended purpose, cost to value ratio, and expectations. And of course, if there are any requests for a damn nicer. All right, design. Very simple, but in the most elegant and complimentary way I can say it. Tactile Turn does this with their pens. They have a very simple, I don't want to say simple, what's austere sort of design that I've noticed. And this is, their knives are no different. That the hexagonal, make no mistake, that's a hexagon. The hexagonal, they make it look triangular. It's a clipped triangle. Yeah, that's a hexagon. The hexagonal pivot point shield along with the screw is fantastic. The colorway on it is nice. The milled lines in it match up with the milled lines in the micarta, which is sort of what Tactile Turn has. I have a Tactile Turn pen. It has the same soft milled lines, which give it a tremendous amount of grip without being too grabby. It works great on whatever they do. These little V lines, U channels, whatever it is that they grind in there, they have got this down to just the right amount of tackiness. And especially with the micarta, a little bit of pressure means it gives. Even light pressure means it can slide with just a little bit of friction. And that is fantastic. Contoured and slim. Very, very, very slim. What's one here that I can? Here is a Civivi Cubit. Let me see if I can get this right. Flatten them there. The Cubit, there. Slightly thicker, right? Which is a pretty thin knife in the aluminum all on its own. Very, very slim. Where'd that bug out go? Another knife known for being slim, just to give you an idea. If we put them together, this is aftermarket scales, but the bug out is thicker. What about the Civivi Elementum? This is a special S35VN slightly slimmer edition. It is thicker. Kershaw Leak, non-contoured. Okay, slightly thinner. But that's what it takes to get down to it. This is a very slim, contoured, easy design to grab. Tucks in tight within its own silhouette so nicely. And the action with the thumb studs, they're just smooth thumb studs. There's not a lot of jimping or anything on them, but they do have some nice shape, which gives it plenty of grip. The crossbar lock isn't as snappy in sound, especially with the micarta, as you might think, but man, the action is nice. And that's right. The design, the drop point with the little swedge is long, thin blade stock, great geometry. This comes in a lot of other stuff, but the Urban EDC Supply Butterscotch micarta is pretty fantastic. Haven't seen a lot of other micartas, and especially the Westinghouse Butterscotch micarta. Pretty amazing. I don't know if this is actually Westinghouse. They just call it Butterscotch micarta. It doesn't actually look like Westinghouse Butterscotch. Westinghouse Butterscotch micarta, the paper micarta, looks like butterscotch when you grind it down. Anyway. But it is sort of a nice brownish color, which isn't too bad. And the micarta has a great feel, and they put the lines, those tactile turn lines, in there, and a deep carry standoff clip. It's not bent, it's standoff and bent, which gives it an interesting amount of flex and tension in a really good way. The aesthetics, it's simple, classic, clean. It's hard not to like it unless you're not a knife person. Unless if this looks too stabby, pokey, and slicey to you, you're probably not a knife person, because this is about as classic, sleek, and efficient of a general EDC drop point as you can get. Folds up into its own silhouette. Has tons of blade, lots of, the aesthetics of it are great all the way around. The blue and the brown is a decent colorway. Doesn't hurt at all. Really wish the silver would have been something different, but there's lots of aftermarket, and I believe even Tactile Turn has different colors on their website. So that's a pretty good one. The mechanics, look, this thing, you can see there. So the micarta is a bit dirty. I've had to break this in a fair amount, but it is very smooth. It is not. Let me see if I can show you. It is not on washers. This is on, or it's not on bearings. This is on washers. I meant to say this is not on bearings. This is on washers, and it is smooth once broken. It does take a little bit of breaking in, I'm not going to lie. And it does sometimes still fail if you're a little light on the thumb, or if you only kind of like you can slow roll it, but if you half flick it, it doesn't always, like if you kind of slow roll it as you flick it out, it's not going to do it. But a good flick, of course I don't do it, good flick either way, man, and I can't get you may have trouble, as I do, getting your finger in there. And my fingers, get my finger off the clutch lock, or the crossbar. You know what? My finger's off the crossbar. There we go. I have a hard time keeping my fingers off the crossbar if I keep them on here and try and go for the finger flip. This finger tends to sit on the crossbar, which makes it have a little bit of resistance to going, and that extra bit of resistance means I don't flip it hard enough. So if I keep my fingers off, it does great. So my stylistic problem, something you get used to. I have a lot of different knives. I don't always do this. A little bit extra carrying of this knife would likely alleviate that. But other than that, the mechanics, especially for a super smooth washer-based system, very, very nice. It is fully lined, inset liners, and the liners, surprisingly enough, you might want to think, they are, let's see if I can even get that. I don't know if you can see that right there. They're solid. There's no skeletonizing. 2.66 ounces. No skeletonizing. This thing would be in bug out territory with, it would be probably 2.25 ounces somewhere if there was some skeletonizing. You could probably take a few more grams off here, no problem, if you skeletonize those liners. They might be a little thin. I don't know. I haven't taken it apart to do some cleaning and resetting on it. But it's definitely someplace where you get a lot of robustness in a lightweight, which is fantastic. All right, so noteworthy points. This is all American made, Magna Cut, Tactile Turn out of Texas. American micarta, they say, and it is a proper designed. This is just, it's the Tactile Turn Maverick in Magna Cut. This is an all-American, Texas-made knife. Companies from Texas, as far as I know, all of the parts come from USA made. And that's important. The intended purpose, they state it. They have said several times, this is an EDC knife. This is designed to be their primary entry in the EDC folding knife market, crossbar and all that stuff. Their Maverick is awesome. And they are keeping it refined. They're refining this design. So they don't make any bones about what its intended purpose is on it. And quite honestly, the noteworthy points with the Magna Cut, as far as a Maverick goes, this is a Magna Cut, which they have on all of them. It is 63 HRC. I'm just going to let you know that has been a problem in the past. I have another tactile turn. And in fact, I won't even get it out. I'll just show my... At 61 in 1922 for the Rockwall. And Rockwall I'd have to dig out. It might be... Oh, no, it's right. Let's see if I can. So I do have the Rockwall. This one's at MagnaCut 61. And... Oh, man, it's just out of reach. They have since changed their heat treat because the new ones are at 63. So there's definitely some benefits to that. Yes, I'm keeping the 61 because I think it is great that I have one of the few, before they changed, one of the few MagnaCuts at 61 in such a small blade. Really large blade, I actually can understand it maybe on like an outdoors blade or something at the 61 to 62, but it is kind of, it's not necessarily bad. It just doesn't utilize all of the benefits of MagnaCut. So yeah, there's some interesting changes there. And they've had other things before, and I love the Rockwall. That snap on the Rockwall where they have titanium. Same milling pattern, right? If you can, I'll show you right there. You can see the same milling pattern in the micarta and whatnot. Cost to value ratio. That's where we're going to come into. Normally, these are around $250 for normal versions and G10 and all sorts of other stuff. And this micarta version was $299. EDC, Urban EDC Supply, urbanedc.com. I'll put a link down below. I'll put a link down below in the description, as well as the code. Has a code right now of EDC 30, where they have a warehouse sale going where you can get 30% off certain warehouse items, and the Tactile Turn Maverick in butterscotch micarta is one of those items. With 30% off, you can get it for around $225 before tax. So you can get one of these as of this filming of this video, which is, I believe, August 9th. Might be August 8th, depending on when this comes out. You'll be able to save a ton of money on the Tactile Turn Maverick at Urban EDC Supply at urbanedc.com. So at $299, it's still a decent value. You get, like, there's a lot of fit and finish and attention to detail at the full retail price. At $225, where it's competing, that price is competing with things like Wii and stuff. The fit and finish is right up there. It's MagnaCut, it's American made and all that. At $225 for a high-end, well put together, extremely well executed and well designed knife, they're doing extremely well. And that's a very good cost of value. I'm going to give it even 90 on cost of value. Yeah, you can find cheaper ones, but not with MagnaCut, not with butterscotch micarta, and not American made. All those for the price with that discount. After that discount, these may not even be available anymore. This is a limited edition run. The butterscotch micartas may not be available, but I'm sure Tactile knives, Tactile Turn, Tactile knives, whatever they call themselves, will have other versions available, but this butterscotch micarta is a special edition, and it is on sale as of the filming of this, and I am going to check before I post it to make sure that all of those links are still good when this video posts. So the cost to value ratio with the sale, outstanding. Without it, still pretty good. And as far as the expectations, I was actually a little off-put because there was a lot of things I liked about the Rockwall and a lot of things I didn't. Some of it being the heat treat, the grind. There was a lot to like, and I saw a lot of promise, and I wasn't really sure. And I wasn't sure what to expect out of the Maverick. I tried to go into the open mind without too many bad or good expectations. And I'm proud and happy to say the parts that were bad about the Rockwall, they fixed. And the parts that were good, they kept. And I am really, really glad to be able to say that. I am impressed with the attention to detail and the design changes. I had been looking to get this knife. I've been kind of holding off, and I wasn't sure about this particular version or another one, but then this one on sale, and I pulled the trigger myself on the 30% off warehouse sale at Urban EDC Supply and got this version of this knife, and I'm glad I did. I really do like the micarta version, and it is extremely lightweight for a large, medium large size. I would call it full size. It's 3.5. It's just barely legal for me to carry in my jurisdiction. If I go into LA downtown, I can't carry this knife. It is outside of the 3-inch mark. But that being said, if there was any, because I don't think I have any. Maybe a little bit of like a star pattern on the thumb studs or something. Maybe a little bit on the, I don't know so much about the crossbar lock, but the thumb studs could use a little bit of jimping. It just gives you that little bit of extra snap and no real slide. But that's a minor nitpick. Like the rest of it, what is there to say? It's Magna Cut. Give me a special edition of this in S90V. Like I don't know what else to even say about that. Like what more do you ask for? Actually, if anything, give us a cheaper version in 14C28N. I don't like. It's really hard to talk about. Like what would a request be on something that's butterscotch, micarta, and Magna Cut that's extremely well put together with great secondary bevels, primary bevels, very sharp. Tactile has some great edges, just to let you hear. All the way to the tip. So relatively rough, but well apexed. So it's hard to say I would request much. I wasn't sure what to expect. I went into it a little bit hesitant because I hadn't had the best Rockwall example, and I'm proud to say it blew me away on expectations for what it delivered. It delivered on the promise that I think Tactile's, my first knife with Tactile seemed to have, but didn't fully deliver, and the Maverick does. And I really do want to give that credit where it's due. They really did come through. This one's been out for a while, so I'm sure a lot of other people already know it, but I'm just glad to report that my own experience really does back that up, that Tactile turned in their knives has really come a long way, and they're putting Magna Cut at that 63 HRC or somewhere around, close to it, right in the sweet zone. Perfect absolutely fantastic for things like kitchen knives and folding knives and all that sort of stuff. So really, really taking it on. And, this thing, it's design. Classic, unique in the sense that you can tell it's a Tactile with a little bit of touches, but still a classic and very, very useful design. It goes right into the aesthetics. A smooth, flowing lines, looks like a knife, acts like a knife. The mechanics are great for a washer-based pivot system. It's a little bit sticky. I'm still breaking it in, you guys. So I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit sticky till you get the full break-in. But it is also very linear as it gets broken in. So that is pretty fantastic. So the design, aesthetics, mechanics, all great. Noteworthy points. It's the Maverick in butterscotch micarta, Magna Cut, USA made. Of course, its intended purpose is a great general overall EDC knife for pretty much any EDC situation. Not just, the package piercing, the saran wrap slicer, the cardboard carver, and the envelope eviscerator, but all the other slightly more robust tasks. This will be able to take pretty much all of them on. And cost to value with the EDC 30% off Urban EDC Supply discount code. These make a great value. They're about $225 plus tax. That's a ballpark number. Don't quote me. It is absolutely just within a few dollars. It's not way off, but it's within a few dollars of what you should get at 30% pre-tax. So yeah, very, very, very cool to check out and see. I'm really glad I pulled the trigger. I think with the discount codes that are going to be out there, you should too. But that's going to wrap up this Tactile turn. Really good. 90 on the cost of value, and overall just absolutely fantastic for an American-made knife. You know, just really, really can't say enough how much impressed I am and happy that I finally went through with it and got the Tactile Maverick in Magna Cut. Right? All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up with that, you guys. I'm so glad I get this. You guys should too. Once again, the discount code and the website and everything will be down in the description. But until then, go ahead, take this video, watch it twice, comment as much as you like, be mindful of side effects. Remember to like and subscribe. This has been your Dose of Drew. I am said Drew. And you guys have a great rest of your night.